In episode 2, we learned how Python remembers data using variables. But today, we will answer a dangerous question, which is, if we run this, you see, this works. The question is why this works, but this crashes when I modify this to this. This is where most beginners get stuck. Today, we will understand data types, why they exist, and how Python protects you using them. Once this clicks, your code will stop behaving randomly. Let's think like humans. If I say add 10 and 20, you calculate. But if I say add 10 and hello, you would stop and ask, how can I add that? Computers are same. A data type tells Python what kind of data this is and what operations are allowed on it. Python is strict, and I can tell you that's a really good thing. Let's start this over. We will create a variable called a and will assign a value 10 to it. Let's create another variable and assign a value 20 to it. Let's try printing the output. We can simply do a plus b inside a print function. If we save this and run the program, we see Python sees both values are numbers. Addition makes sense, no problem. Now, let's do something different. Let's create a variable name, first underscore name. We can call it Virat. Let's create another variable called last name. We will call it Kohli. And let's try to perform an addition of first name and last name in the print function. What do you think will happen? Let's try and see for ourselves. You see, here Python sees text, not numbers. The plus sign does not add, it joins text. Same symbol, different meaning, because the type is different. Python doesn't guess. It decides everything based on the data types. Same symbol, same code, different behavior. This is not confusion. This is design. Now, Python has many data types. And today I want to focus on the core or the major 4 data types we have. The first one is integer. Second one is float. Third one is str, often called string, and bool. Let's take an example of each one of them. For int, we will define a variable called age and will assign value 31. That's an integer value. For the float, we will create height and we can say it's 5.8. For a string data type, we can create a variable called name. We can simply say Virat. And then for a Boolean data type variable, we can say is player is the name of the variable. And we can say true. Each one answers a different question. Int represents counting. float, measurements, string, text, bool, yes or no. Programming is all about choosing the right data type. We can always simply check the type of a data or variable using the type function. The best way to do it is using print and type function inside print. Let's see what gets returned. Class int. Let's try doing this for others. Print type hide print type name, and finally print type is player. Save this up. Let's try to run what happens. Alright, now we see there is a class of integer type, class of float type, class of string, class boolean. This is how programmers debug. They ask Python, what are you dealing with? What's the type of the data? I would like to give you a mini challenge. Pause the video and do this. Ask the user for their name, ask the user for their age, print a sentence using both. What you will need is, you will need to understand the function called input. So, if I wanted to do it, I would simply do it using, let's say, age. I would create a function called input. I will type in the prompt I want to give it to the user. So, enter your age and let's see what happens. If I enter the age 30, nothing happens. But if I add something to the age after receiving it from the user, let's say I want to add 1 to it and print that tab. Let's see what happens. I would save the program. Let's enter 30. Okay. We ran into a crash and this surprises everyone. Because input is a function which always by default returns text, even if you type a number. So Python is not wrong. We just need to convert it. The very simple way we can do it is by doing a type conversion, which is like this, defining the type in the input. Let's try this one more time. And this works now. In the next episode, we will make decisions using code. If this happens, do this. Otherwise, do that. This is the program's start thinking. If data types finally make sense, like the video, you're no longer guessing, you're programming. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.